So my name is Myeshia Jones, and I'm from Jackson, Michigan, and I do work around Black food sovereignty. Sovereignty in itself is this idea, this ability to have ownership, access, freedom, autonomy over anything. And so the work that I do around Black food sovereignty, when we think about food as it historically relates to Black and brown people, people of color and poor people, food has been used as a weapon against us for a very long time. When you think about incarceration, which already is a pervasive ideology of punishment and started from mass incarceration, is how the fundamental piece of incarceration. And so when we think about what happened during that time, how can I have control over people? I take their food. I use food to weaponize them. During chattel slavery, we saw that Black and brown people were given the scraps, right? In prison, right? When you get, you've done something, behaved in a manner, they take away your access to food, to nourishing and healthy food. And so when I do the work around sovereignty, it involves dismantling systems that we've abided in for so long and thought that's just the way things are. It empowers people whose voices have been stolen from them to gain their voice back and to move in a way that empowers other people. Sovereignty is the answer. When you have been impacted by the justice system, there's a stigma that's associated with you. And while we're working diligently to take those perceptions, those ideas of what people who've experienced the things I've experienced are like, it's still a process. And so when you have that, criminal conviction, or you've been impacted by the incarceration system, that follows you around. And then you work for systems that weren't created for you, that weren't designed by you, that aren't supported by people that look like you. And so there's always a level of suppression that we have to do in our voices. I feel I'm a strong and powerful leader, but I've unfortunately been in spaces where if my voice didn't sound like, if it didn't feel like, if it didn't help perpetuate the systems that I know are harming us, that people would not want to hear my voice. That it was suppressed to make everyone else feel comfortable, to make everyone else feel like diversity is okay when you show up in a way that works for us. The power of Just Leadership is I've been given the opportunity to show up in my authentic self, where I didn't have to subscribe to a code that I know wasn't authentic to who I am, where I didn't have to take pieces away from me and away from my voice to make others feel comfortable around me, where the education and knowledge I knew I had could be shared with someone who understood and appreciated the opportunity to learn. That's what Just Leadership provided for me. A space of collective power where I can share space with leaders across the country who are doing work that empowers me, that teaches me, that evolves me, where leaders come into this space with lived experience that can help me navigate through systems and policy change and building relationships in an authentic manner. I did not have to suppress a piece of me to be in this organization and to learn from these amazing and powerful people. I was able for the first time in my career to bring my whole self into a space and to learn at the capacity and level that worked for me, to be able to educate my peers in a respectful manner with no limitations, because we're not afraid to be educated and move forward in this work. A place where everyone has the shared vision of justice, of freedom, of liberation, and we're all after it in our own capacities, where we can celebrate each other without experiencing jealousy or animosity. This was a wonderful organization. And while it's just continuing to build, I'm so glad that I was in this cohort, because now I can take everything that I learned to go make an even bigger impact. I have more confidence in my voice. I have ways to build relationships that I didn't know before. I have understanding about policy and advocacy that I didn't have before. And now I'm empowered to go out and do the work that I was called to do.